Have you ever thought about the word procrastination? We're going to be talking about that today, as you may be allowing time to steal your success. Join us today for the Surging Forward podcast. Don't let time steal your success. Episode number 43. Hello, and welcome to the Surging Forward broadcast, where we're helping you to have a positive view in a negative world. My name is David Valentine, and I'm here to help you see the value in the job you do and how you can keep surging forward. Well, hello, and welcome again to the Surging Forward podcast. Well, we're here creating a positive view in a negative world. And today I want to welcome you to the Surging Forward podcast. And again, if this is your first time listening, well, thanks for listening. And feel free to like us on Facebook and check us out on iTunes and any other podcast apps that you might be listening. We're also on YouTube. We do have a couple of videos on there also, and you might want to check out some of the past episodes as we're continually to help you have a positive attitude in a negative world. Today we're going to be talking about something that's kind of interesting. On graduation classes starting, I'm getting ready to finish the last day of teaching, actually. It's going to be this week. And it's always a cool thing, and everybody's always excited about finishing school and getting done with everything. But the hard part is I always encourage them to go forward and get their license. They've been through 4 years of training. Now they qualify to get the license. And all that's left to do is actually fill out the application. And then get all your materials together and send it in. And then you'll be put on the list to take the test. Well, it often happens. I've been teaching for quite a few years now. And this is not just only in the trades. It's also with anything in life. So that's what we're going to be talking about this world, procrastination. We have a tendency as people to put things off. So I'm going to be giving you throughout this podcast 3 very important things that you need to do in order to not procrastinate and make sure that you're achieving your goals in your career, whether it's in the trades, whether it's in electrical, HVAC, plumbing, roofing, you're working at Walmart, you're working at a bank, doctor, lawyer, whatever the case you may be doing. But you need to have your goals set up, and you need to have a way of achieving those goals. So we're going to be talking about the 3 things that you need to do. So when we talk about procrastination, what does that actually mean? It basically just means you keep putting things off because you're not really sure where or how something is supposed to be done. You haven't really clarified the importance of it. And I see this so many times at this point of graduation. And again, as I was saying earlier, after teaching for so many years, I end up running into a lot of guys that I've taught over the years. I end up running into them 4 or 5 years later, maybe 8 years later. And they all know one of the first things I ask them is, hey, did you go get your application in? Did you get your license? Did you get your journeyman's card? Well, more often than not, oh, I forgot to do it. Life happened, this happened. It's 4, 5, 6 years later. Well, my next question is, why don't you go get it now? Why don't you get it done? And a lot of it is a fear of the unknown. You see, we go through all of this training, and we're afraid of what might happen. Well, let's think about that. And we're going to be talking about that in our steps for making our goals. So hold on to that question just for a moment. And I hear this quite often in the field. They just don't bother taking the test, or it doesn't become a priority. It kind of fades away. And so, therefore, they're still in the same situation they were in when they actually first started school. So you've kind of wasted that whole 4 years. And now you have to go get residual training. And it's not that you don't always keep getting training anyway. You'll always hear me talking about we always need to be excelling and getting more and more training. But what happens when we start laxing off on those goals, or we start laxing off on the things that need to be done, we hinder our success. And we allow time to steal our actual success. You see, time is one of those things that keeps going on and on and on. We change, computers change, life changes, things happen. But the one thing that's always constant is time. Time never does change. Time goes on and on consistently every day. It doesn't move. It doesn't go backwards, it doesn't go forward, and it definitely doesn't stay stagnant. You see, our lives, we go back and we think about the past all the time. We might reminisce on that for a while. Might make us happy, might get us bummed out. A lot of us have tough pasts. I know I had a rough time in my past, and I've got some rough bumps in my road. And if I dwell on those too long, well, it's going to cause me to stay in the past. Time's going to keep marching on, but I'm going to be stuck in the past. Or I might be stuck in the present. All I'm concentrating on is the now factor and the now factor. I forget about my family, or I forget about things that are important. And so I could lose track of that. Time doesn't care. Time keeps marching forward. Or I could be thinking way too far in the future. And I could be just constantly looking at that last mark. I got a 10-year goal. And I could care less about anything else going on. Time doesn't care. It keeps marching forward. And you see, once a bit of time is gone, it's gone. You can never recover any second, minute, hour, day, month, or year. You can never go back and get it back. So we need to have a plan in our life. And sometimes that's what causes us to procrastinate, because procrastination is something that is done out of a fear of the unknown. We kind of want to just stay in our little box. We don't want to venture out. We don't want to rock the boat. But the problem is, it can hinder us very well from our success. So let's talk about a few things here. So one of the first things we need to do is write down what your goals are. Goals, you hear me all this time writing about this, and I have my goals written in various places, but you probably they should be written down in one spot where you can get to them. What is your goals? You want to get your license. Well, that's why you went to 4 years of apprenticeship school. What is it going to take to get that license? Well, depending on what state you're in, most states that are out there, you have to take what's called a test. You have to take a journeyman's test, whatever it is, for HVAC, electrical, plumbing, contractor's license. You want to get your contractor's license? There's requirements for that. You want to get a certification in the career that you're in. There's qualifications for it. List what the qualifications are and put them down in a list. The second thing you want to do is create a deadline for each one of those goals. Now, this is a very critical part right here, because things happen in life. We all understand that. Your deadline, sometimes it does have to be flexible. You're not always going to get things done in the exact amount of time that you say they're going to be. Classic example, what I'm doing right now, I'm conquering a room addition. And actually, the room addition's already there, but we're remodeling it. So we just had the outside done and had a new roof put on. Now we're in the process of getting rid of that old popcorn ceiling. So we're getting rid of all that. I'm putting new drywall up, tearing down old. And you'd think that'd be pretty easy for a guy that's been in a contracting world forever. But it's a lot of work. And I understand the work that's involved. The problem is I work all day. Plus I have to get ready for the podcast. Plus I'm writing courses. So I don't have a whole lot of time. So originally I set myself a very unrealistic deadline. I said, we'll get this done in a couple weeks over a weekend. Well, things happen. So I have to continually keep putting that goal out. But it's there. I see it every day. And I know I need to get to it. So I keep just chipping away at it. Now again, my deadline has gone out. It's extended quite further. And it's probably going to take me most of the summer to get it done. But I'm continually chipping away at the goal. At least I'm still working at it. It's the same thing if you're trying to get your license. Don't just wait and shove it under the carpet. Keep at least chipping away at it, doing what you need to do, whether it's education, getting courses, whether if it's a certification you're trying to get. Don't worry about, getting overwhelmed and having to take 4 years of college at one time. Take it piece by piece. I have a lot of my students who are going to go to a junior college and they're going to take some other courses and, go for their degrees. And that's a fantastic thing. I talk a lot about the trades. You can make a lot of money in the trades. You can make a lot of money in degrees. But you want to take the right decision and take the right courses so that you can get that proper degree. One that's going to bring you the income that you need, or not just the income, but the success and happiness that you're working in a career that makes you happy. See, what makes you happy in a career is something that when you're doing something you enjoy and you do something that brings you continual success. And success is not always by money, my friends. Sometimes it's just something that you really have a passion and you enjoy doing. So the first thing to do is, of course, like I said before, write it down. Write it down somewhere. And give yourself a deadline. That's number 2. You want to give yourself a deadline. And when you give yourself this deadline, again, it doesn't mean it's solid rock. It can be, flexible here and there. Because again, we all know life happens. And you want to be flexible with those deadlines. You don't want to say, okay, come hell or high water, I'm getting this done. Well, the problem is bad things happen in your life and something does come up. You don't want to put your loved ones aside. You don't want to put things that are other people that are important in your life. You don't want to just shove them aside because you've got your eye focused on this goal. Because then what ends up happening, you get that goal, but you've lost the things that are more precious to you. So you don't want to fall into that trap either. The third thing and the final thing, you want to accomplish the goal. Check it off when you're done. What is success? That's one of the things I like about tradesmen. Us in the field, we see things, we look around, we can drive down an area and we can say, yes, I did that building. I worked on this building. That's the progress of getting things done. That's the feeling of accomplishment. When you have that card in your pocket and you've gotten your journeyman's license or your master's license, that's that sense of accomplishment. When you have your contractor's license, that allows you to open up the doors. And you're never going to know what that following door is until you get that license. And once you get that license, what a great thing. Now you can go out and bid jobs and you can almost make your own career path. And you can bring others along with you for that success because you've walked that path. But if you continually to put it off, you're never going to be able to get to that point. So again, the 3 things that I really recommend for people is number 1, you want to write it down. Number 2, you want to have a deadline. And number 3, you want to get to that point where you can check it off. And you always have it there in front of you. And again, your life changes, things happen, we all understand that. But keep the goals constantly in the forefront so that you can continually say, hey, I'm going to make this happen. And that's where you get to that point where you can look back and say, I have done this in my career. But I've also had the help of others because sometimes we have to have other people help us out. That's what I'm trying to do here a little bit. I'm trying to give you that little bit of push and to help you become successful. Because if you don't have anybody helping you, it becomes very easy to procrastinate. Does it really make a difference? You start questioning yourself. Is it really worth it? Wow, should I really do this? I really don't see the benefits in this. Well, here, my friends, I'm here to tell you, I don't care what your dreams are. I don't care what your goals are. There is a benefit to it. The benefit is that you are going to get to that point where you have that value of success. That's where the benefit is. It's not for me. Don't do it just for me. Don't do it just for those around you. Do it for the benefit of the difference that you're going to make for others. What you want to do. What's going to make you happy. And that is where you're going to see that value of success. And again, you want to bring others along with you because the teamwork, that's something I always preach also. That's something that's going to really help you because you need others around you. We all need encouragement. There's not a whole lot we can set out to do just on our own. And I always hear those things that You get people get up and they give credit and they say, I did this, I did this, I did this, I did this. No, there's many people along the way that helped you get to that point where you did such and such and such and such and such and such. So, what are your goals? What is it you want to accomplish? And for those of you that are graduating from school this year, whether it's college, whether it's a trade school, an apprenticeship, what is your next step? Put that out somewhere. What is the things that you need to do to reach that very next step? Take it one step at a time. Don't try to skip 2 or 3 steps because, again, that's where you get discouraged. And when we get discouraged, it causes us to, again, procrastinate. And when we procrastinate, we basically just put it off because we don't feel like it's important. And yet it is important. We strive to convince ourselves that it's not very important. So don't let time steal your success. If you're not continually doing something to keep surging forward, then you're actually falling backward. Because we really don't stand still. Because as time moves forward, if you're standing still, you're falling further and further and further behind. So don't let this happen to you, my friends. Continue to keep surging forward. I always like saying that. It's pretty cool. So again, I want to thank you for listening to this short podcast today. And next week, it's either going to be next week, I'm hoping to have a very fantastic guest. And he has pursued his career. And he has a love for photography. And, he has just written a book. And he's really surged forward in his career. So we're going to be talking to him hopefully next week, if not the following week. So I'm looking forward to getting that on. And if you have anything that you need as far as in the trades, check out our website at surgingforward.com. If you're looking forward to excelling in the trade or you need the CEUs for your license renewal, we have the courses for your particular state. Also, if you're looking to get your contractor's license, we have all the prep courses there that you need to help you take your test for the particular state that you're in. There's prep courses that are required, business courses, your basic business ideas, and it just gives the very, very, very tip of the iceberg basics on running a business. So, also too, I want to throw this out there also. If you enter Surging5 at the checkout, you're going to get 5% off. That's for anybody listening to the podcast here. This is my way of saying thank you for allowing me to serve you. Feel free to tell a friend also and make sure, you're helping them out in their career. Tell them about this podcast. And don't forget to subscribe on iTunes. Also, I want to make that announcement. I don't think I made it in the beginning here, but we're running a contest for those of you that are electricians out there. We are giving away a free 2017 electrical code book. All you need to do is simply go on Facebook, go to the group Electrical Tips, Tricks, and Discussion. Okay, you'll find it on Facebook in the groups, and it's going to give you all the details now. Now, this contest is only running for a week, so if you're listening to this podcast after June 2nd, it's probably too late because we're only going to be running it for 1 week, and this is through the Memorial Day weekend and through that week. So it ends Friday, the 2nd of June. So check that out, and it'll give you all the details on how to win a free 2017 electrical code book. That's about a $90 value. So kind of a cool deal out there. So again, I want to say thanks for allowing me to serve you. And if you have any opinions or comments, or you want to send me a question on anything, feel free to send me an email to dave@surgingforward.com. I want to say thanks for listening this week. And again, stay safe and keep surging forward. God bless, my friends. You have a great week.